Hello and welcome to the final special edition of Video Games to the Max, where we are talking about everything involving the Sony E3 press conference. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, and this is the official 4-1 Games Zone podcast. With me today, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Daniel Anderson.
Hello.
And the two hosts of the Backlog Busting Project, Mr. Randy Isbelle and Wes Harrington.
Hello.
Hey.
Randy's tired after all the stuff they showed at that Sony press conference.
I really am. I mean, it just died off, but I don't know if I could take it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they just went even more, Patrick earlier was complaining about how quick they went through things in the Microsoft conference. Man, he would have been going nuts at how they did this today here for Sony. Pretty much not a whole lot of talking other than Sean Layden being very nervous every time he had to come on stage, which is weird. Doesn't have the supreme confidence of Mr. Jack Tretton, but, that's long gone at this point. We started off with a God of War going in a different, going into Norse mythology now instead of having the Greek and Roman mythology. So that's sort of why it's just called God of War now, is apparently what's being said online, is that because it's dealing with different mythology. But there's a kid, he's shooting arrows. You get to watch, help him shoot a elk-like creature, and Kratos has a beard. I mean, any thoughts on we now know what's going on with God of War?
Yeah, we now know what's going on with God of War, and it actually looked really different from what I remember God of War being. Like that they added experience points, and it looks like they've got some sort of skill system going on almost, and you discovered a new location, and it's okay, where are they going with this? I mean, don't get me wrong, it looked fucking amazing, but it was okay, they're going places here,
It looked a lot like Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I was gonna go there too.
Yeah. Had a
Which
bad
is not
thing.
a bad thing.
Yeah.
No, I also think you can see where I kind of think that they're still going to have the QTE events. They just didn't put it into the demo that they had ready for E3.
Yeah, or they probably wanted to make it look as real as possible too, and when you put those little button triggers up there, it makes it look it's a little jarring. I know they did it for the talking points for Horizon Zero Dawn, but they wanted that to be in there so you could see that there is decisions that you can make or whatever, which I think is a little bit different. I wonder if you play as the kid at all, or he's just there in that part.
I would bet at the end when Kratos dies and the kid becomes the new Kratos.
I think you switch off.
You think
I think
switch off?
you'll play as the kid in some points, and you'll play as Kratos in the rest.
Yeah, I'm still not sure, because during that demo they were showing that when the kid shot the elk, you gained experience points in archery. So it's like you were helping build the son up to being a great hunter and warrior and all of that. And I don't know if that's building up to something and you only see Kratos at the beginning of the game and then you play as a kid, or if that is just creating the bond between the two and that you're leveling that up or what. But I'm really interested to see more of this game.
I could see go on.
Well, I think you're going to have times where, like you saw in the demo, the kid's aiming the arrow, you're controlling the aim, and then other times you're controlling Kratos.
I could see the kid getting kidnapped pretty early in the game, and then the whole point of the game is the quest to rescue him.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad either. I think either way they do it, it's interesting. It's I wonder what gods we're gonna see in the game and where they're going with this, but at least we
Also,
know.
kind of,
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
also kind of wonder what happened to the kid's mother.
I just hope that if you fight Thor, it's voiced by Chris Hemsworth.
Nice.
That'll be a fantasy that's not happening. What'd you guys think of the? So we get this new game called Days Gone, which felt like Dead Rising, but with a bigger setting to me. Because the zombies just wouldn't stop. I mean,
Yeah. I still don't know what to think about that game because I was kind of into it when they showed the initial reveal trailer, and then they showed the gameplay at the end of the conference, and it was just kind of like, really?
yeah.
It looked a lot like Ride to Hell Retribution, just with zombies, and it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
the initial trailer gave, I think, everybody on this call Last of Us vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had gone with that, yeah, sure, they would have been getting, lambasted for it. But it just kind of felt like they went way too far in the other direction, almost, with the gameplay demo. Because it just fell flat on its face for me.
Well, at least the zombies were kind of interesting, as opposed to like other zombie games where they just shamble around. Like these things were like crawling and like busting through the door and climbing up. Like it was like they looked dumb, but it was kind of interesting from that point.
Yeah, I'm still very curious about it because I'm with Wes. Like the opening trailer does, of course, give you a little bit of The Last of Us vibes, but obviously you're not. It doesn't seem like you're hunting for ammo or anything because obviously in the gameplay trailer he unloaded thousands of bullets into that horde and they just kept coming. So I don't know if they're going to split it up and they just showed one of the few epic like zombie battles where you have to go through a whole horde of them and sometimes you have to sneak around, or if sneaking's even a part of the game, or what. Obviously the story will be a huge part of it, as they were trying to get into that in the main trailer. So I'm still curious about it. I'm with Wes where I like the beginning stuff that they showed instead of what they showed at the end. But obviously this game's a couple years away and we will see a lot more of it as time goes.
I'd
Yeah,
kind of like to see it focus more on the bounty hunting aspect, and there just be zombies around, than focus more on the zombies.
Yeah, I mean, he did mention different jobs there that he has, so I hope this is only like one part of the game or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, again, it's, Dead Rising's fine. It's a good game. Just the whole thing of like killing the same thing over and over, I don't care how many weapons I have, gets boring after a while. I know you can sort of remedy that by playing it in short spurts, but just hope the fact that he's naming off different roles that he has means that there's different things that you do in the game, and they just highlighted the zombies because everybody's, oh, zombies, whatever. Probably one of the biggest. We knew he's making a game, obviously, but we didn't know at all what it was. Kojima comes out basically towards the end of Hideo Kojima basically comes out towards the end, and we get this game, just so called Death Stranding, and Norman Reedus, naked, baby, and things in the sky. That's all I got out of it. That just.
And
Sounds
if you
about
were
right.
and if you were in the ocean, you're screwed because they were all dead.
Yep, sounds about right.
I mean, hey, they're finally doing a game together, so
Yeah,
that's
there you
good
go.
at least.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what if it's the Silent Hills later, but
That's what Resident Evil 7 is for.
Yeah, we had that too, which is going to be. They showed sort of what seemed like the VR version in the trailer, but it's not. You don't have to have VR. It works without VR as well. Uh, very creepy, very Resident Evil like.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the non VR version is also in the first person view of it. I think that's where they're going. They want Resident Evil completely got away from the creepy and the spooky and went for more action based. Just because Resident Evil 4 became such a huge hit, so then they just kept going in that direction. So I like that they're going back to being more spooky and scary and just that creepy vibe. And I haven't tried a VR headset yet, but I can only imagine how freaked out I will be when I get my hands on a VR headset and try Resident Evil on it, because I was freaked out just watching it on the computer going, nope, I don't want to do it. And then it was Resident Evil. I went, God damn it, now I have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting exactly how apparently you're supposed to make appointments at Best Buy to do the VR thing, and we'll see how GameStop does it, how quickly and how efficiently they can get this in the hands of people so that we can actually try it and see how this is. They announced plenty of stuff here with the VR, with the X-Wing mission, the Farpoint game, the Batman Arkham VR, the Final Fantasy 15 VR where you get to play as a separate character, which I wouldn't be surprised if that is, you could play the whole game as Prompto. Because, yes, I know they have to do a whole lot of stuff to be able to change the view. But, it's possible that it also could be like you guys were saying, it's just parts of another thing.
I really wish in the regular Final Fantasy 15 that guy's still wearing the stupid headset.
That'd be pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sorry, I am distracted and my kid deciding she's trying to be as quiet as possible, then she slams the door.
Nailed it. Hey, no, she's just taking her stealth cues from Ghost Recon Wildlands earlier.
Exactly.
Two loud-ass gunshots. We need to try to be stealthy. More gunshots.
Oh, they spotted me because I wasn't so stealthy. Maybe if you were a bit more stealthy. Yeah. I mean, they did announce officially the price for the VR, which I think Sony had announced already previously.
Yeah,
go ahead.
They announced that a few months ago. And they announced October, but they didn't give the specific date.
Yeah, I think it was more about the date than the price, and leaving less to be desired, having to tell you anything about the camera or anything else that's going on. Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't show a whole lot, other than Resident Evil. I mean, everything else they showed is kind of just, okay, here's guy wearing, I did like the fact that they kind of made fun of it in Final Fantasy with the guy wearing the actual PSVR thing. I was like, okay, well, I guess is he going to put it on in the game, and then you start playing as him or something? That's...
I really want to play. I want, everything they showed is something I want to play. Like, they had Star Wars, Star Wars,
thing?
Final Fantasy, yes, the X-Wing thing. Batman Arkham, which, I don't think anybody saw coming. Just pretty much every VR game they showed, I actually was interested in, which is a first for a large majority of the VR content I've seen. A lot of it I was just like, okay, why does this need to be VR? And there's still a little bit of that, but But, I kind of felt this was the first time where I kind of felt they weren't trying to go, oh, hey, look at this VR. It was, oh, hey, look at this game, but it's also going to be VR.
Yeah, I mean, we still have to... The Batman thing might not be like a whole game or anything, but still the fact that you can do that is pretty cool. I didn't get a full game part out of any of the stuff that was shown here, unless the Final Fantasy's thing is, but I kind of doubt it. But
the Resident Evil one is.
Yeah.
But...
Well, plus we got maybe Fallout 4 and Doom aren't for PSVR at all, because I was expecting that announcement. So
could entirely be possible.
You got the big Crash Bandicoot reveal. Not a new Crash Bandicoot, but the old ones remastered.
And I'm okay with that.
Was it me or did Crash look terrible in Skylanders?
Yeah, he looked like he looked like he was made out of felt in Skylanders, and I really hope that's not the art style they go with in the remaster, because
yeah.
If
I hope they don't either, but nothing really looks great in Skylanders, so it is kind of what it is.
True.
I mean, it's cool that he's there. This totally seems like one of those, we're gonna remake or we're gonna remaster the three single player like series games, so you guys can have those, and if they sell, then we'll think about making another new Crash or something, which not a bad idea.
And we did kind of get an answer to the question of who still owns the IP, because note that they made a very specific point to go, we have partnered with Activision. In other words, Activision's going, yeah, we'll throw you a bone and do this.
Which I always think is weird, that with the old games that Sony already made, like, Sony should have a say in if they want to do stuff with them. It's just, if you want to make a new Crash game or whatever, then Sony has nothing to do with that. But
yeah,
it is, at least Activision's nice and playing ball. We'll have to see when it comes to actually making a new game, whenever that's supposed to happen.
Right. I will say I was kind of surprised they had not one but two kind of I guess I'll call them Trials of the Blood Dragon moments. I mean, not quite on that scale, but the fact that they said, hey, there are going to be demos for both Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens and Resident Evil 7 available tonight.
Yeah.
Was kind of interesting. A quick question, though. Was Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens announced before today? Or was it literally they announced it and then said, oh, by the way, it's coming in 2 weeks?
No, there have been trailers for it.
We've known about it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't follow the Lego games that much, but I was like, wow, they're announcing it and it comes out in 2 weeks? Damn. But,
go ahead, guys. Kid is loud.
That's all right. The one other thing we haven't touched on yet, and Randy can probably
we don't need to touch on it. Yeah, the new Spider-Man game. Yay, the new Spider-Man game. That's what we're talking about, right?
Not quite yet. Not what I was going for, but sure.
It looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it actually did.
Yeah, I just saw where it is Insomniac working on it.
Yeah, although it would have been funny if they had used the old Spider-Man movie font. I think they should have done that simply just for the gag, because obviously the original PlayStation 3 logo used the Spider-Man font.
Daddy, I'm gonna give you a kiss.
Okay. Give her a kiss, damn it.
They'll still get Tobey Maguire to do the voice acting for Spider-Man, though.
So if it wasn't Spider-Man you wanted to talk about, are we going to talk about Detroit Become Human? Is that the game you're talking about? That was big.
Nope, still not there. But
Horizon
Detroit.
Zero Dawn.
God damn it. To go to, but yeah. Ugh. God damn it! I had a point, and then we got. I hate you both, especially you, Randy.
Victory.
Dude, I'm staring right at your PS4 right now. I'd tread carefully if I were you. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that much of an ass.
I'll be there in 5 minutes.
And the backlog busting project explodes.
Literally.
All right, get to your damn game.
All right. Last Guardian had a nice little trailer, and then a release date of October 25th, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's still a lot sooner than I expected it. Like, I was half expecting them to say, like, you know, December or even, say, January 2017, and, you know, be disappointing again, because that's kind of how The Last Guardian has been with release dates for ever. But to see it coming out in October is actually kind of interesting. And I know my podcast co-host isn't looking forward to it, but I kind of am.
I would be very surprised if it actually comes out in October.
Yeah, that trailer kind of underwhelmed me, actually, because it looked very the same as all they've done for the past 2 years or whatever.
Well, I mean, they went backward. Last year, they actually showed gameplay. This year, it's a trailer, and that's it.
They showed nothing, yeah.
Yeah, but you also kind of know what it is at this point. Like, do you keep showing gameplay and...
Not really. I mean, I don't really know what it still is.
Yeah, but
they needed to show some more polished gameplay, because that was pretty rough gameplay that they showed last year.
Oh, yeah. That was totally like, okay, this is what we've made to this point. Here's that. And then we kind of got this. I mean, this is, at least they're making progress with it. Maybe they're just hoping that it's kind of one of those, well, you know what team's making this. You kind of know what game... I mean, there were other conferences from here till then. So maybe they're doing more at Gamescom or one of these other ones. They're going to make it a highlight there. It felt like they had their games they wanted to show, like Horizon Zero Dawn, that had a bunch of gameplay, because that's been delayed, so they wanted to show people that, hey, we're coming along with this thing. Don't be worried about it. And I don't know, that might have been the best. Maybe it's because I'm so interested in it, but I thought it was one of the best gameplay demos they've had at the whole conferences, honestly.
For Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like that there's a lot more strategy to some of the boss battles than you would have thought. I mean, you'd think, okay, there's weak points and all of that, but just the way the boss battle that they kind of showed there, how many different ways you could defeat it, and okay, it's jumping around, so now you use the arrows that tie it into the ground so it doesn't jump anymore, and it's weak to fire, and all this different stuff that she was going through, and obviously you have to destroy these other animals to get their parts to be able to create all this stuff. It really feels like it's going to be quite the large game, and I'm very, very excited for when it finally comes out.
Yeah, there's even dialogue choices and everything in it too. So it had some kind of lot of like Far Cry stuff with the map and the way they do the dialogue and the wheel to pick your weapons and all that stuff, which isn't a bad thing at all. Just kind of taking the best parts of certain things and fitting it into that world. What'd you guys think of you get to basically like mind control the, I guess you can call them animals.
Well, it looked like you were hacking them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was interesting. We'll see how well it plays. It looks good. It looks unique. So I kind of like that.
Is there anything else we haven't really touched on from this? We
haven't really touched on that Detroit becoming.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what you guys think about it. I worry a little bit. I mean, obviously there has to be other missions in this game because what they showed at this press conference was basically every possible ending to the one mission that they were showing. But basically, it's a super choose your own adventure kind of a thing where every decision you make adds to it, and I guess you can go back in time and then look for more clues and stuff, which is interesting. I always like those choose your own adventure-ish kind of games. I mean, for Point, Until Dawn, which I just played, I really enjoyed. Shoot, I'm blanking. Life is Strange with all those choices. I like that kind of stuff. And I hope that it does branch out even more where there's multiple different endings. There's a bunch of choices, but in the end, there's 3 or 4 different endings to it. So I'm hoping it branches out a lot more, and this is just like the first little mission you do, and then from your decision there, it goes to just all sorts of different things. But from what I've seen so far, it's very interesting.
I mean, isn't most of their games like that, though? Heavy Rain was like that. It had the story things, and you can go back and do that.
Heavy Rain had a few. That's why I want this to expand even more as their next game. What was their game after that? Beyond Two Souls or whatever? I haven't played that one. I've heard mixed reviews on it, but I'm hoping it takes what it did in Heavy Rain and just expands on it. And I love the fact that they're androids, because I remember a lot of the criticism for Heavy Rain was the characters seemed like androids because there wasn't much emotion on their face. So they went, okay, so we can't show emotion on our characters very well. So here, they're androids.
I thought they still tried to get the emotion out there with the way that they talked and stuff.
Well, no, that's right. In Heavy Rain, they showed emotion through voice, but the character animations weren't there. So they're like, screw it. They're androids. They don't show emotion.
Nice. That's one of those games I guess you can now because it got remastered, right, to PS4, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's one I've heard mixed reviews on too. Is either you really like that the way it's done, or it's not really that great. I think we kind of hit everything at least. I mean, is there anything you guys were really impressed by, or anything that you just stands out there? Or the Call of Duty stuff they weren't kidding when they said they were going to go in space. There's lots of space stuff.
Call of Duty was just there. Everything has grappling hooks. The one thing I was impressed with, and I think we touched on it a little bit in this podcast, is just the fact of the way they started, where they came out, they did the introduction, and then it was just trailer. I mean, no skips, no beats, nothing. And other than Horizon Zero Dawn and The Last Guardian, everything we saw was new. It was like yes, the stuff that we showed you last year isn't here yet, but we'll show you that on the floor, and we'll talk about it in other press conferences and stuff. For now, other than those 2 games, it was just, here's all the other new stuff that we're working on. It seems like Sony's idea now is, with E3, these are the games that you're going to be playing in a couple years. And then the other press conferences are, okay, this is what's actually coming out this year. Yeah,
I mean, it was a good mix of that, too. You know, you got some of the, I think they just wanted to highlight like their games, and then you got the couple of surprises with Spider-Man, which I guess with them making Spider-Man is why we haven't seen anything about a possible Sunset 2 or whatever, because they're obviously going to be only making one game at a time. The Days Gone By is the Sony Ben game that everybody's been screaming about for like 3 years now. Of where's Sony Ben? Where's Sony Ben at? So with that being said, I think we covered it all here. If we got to go through with seems like everything's pretty much positive. A grade for this show. Where are you going with it, Daniel?
I'd have to give them an A. They convinced me to want to get VR this year instead of waiting.
Mark?
I'd say A-. Probably the thing for me was Spider-Man. Like that actually looked really good. And as someone who played the last Spider-Man game, I want a good Spider-Man game now.
Wes?
I'd probably say an A- as well. Only reason why it's not higher is just... Well... I said right at the end that it kind of felt weird to be both over and underwhelmed at the same time by a conference. Because, yes, they did come out and there was very minimal filler, and it was game after game after game. But, I know earlier in the day I was saying there was no way we were going to see anything from Naughty Dog yet. But then, or even Kojima Productions, and then Kojima Productions happened, and... they built up, they kind of went, we've got one more thing to show you, and it was Days Gone. And Days Gone kind of laid an egg gameplay-wise for me. So, I'm not quite as hype as some of you seem to be, but I'm not, completely down on the conference either. It's kind of a weird feeling, actually.
That's really weird.
Well, the only reason I rated it... go ahead.
I was just saying, A- and
well, because objectively, I know it was probably the best conference of the show, but right. it was just I think it's just Days Gone really disappointed me gameplay wise, and it really just brought down the entire conference a little bit for me. And since that was the last thing that he showed, I'm just kind of like, oh man, I wish that could have gone better, No,
I kind of get where Wes was coming from, and I'll give it an A, but it was just because it was just, trailer. You start with the really big surprise with the new God of War game, and all these trailers are getting you all hyped. I mean, we were going crazy in the chat, and then you hit the Kojima tease kind of a game, and then from there, it just kind of died off a little bit. And I said it a few times in the chat. I was like, okay, what's that one last surprise they're going to hit us with? Because they got us into a little bit of a lull, and then they were going to hit with a big bang. And the big bang just kind of wasn't there. It was very front heavy in the press conference. They wanted all that big excitement at the end, and at the end, it just kind of died off. And then that kind of gives you the feeling like Wes has of, I'm very excited, and everything they showed at the press conference is great, but at the end of the press conference just kind of leaves you hanging a little bit. Not saying that, well, they didn't show Red Dead Redemption 2, so it's a terrible press conference, but if they ended with Hideo Kojima, I think Wes feels a little bit different, where if they did the gameplay trailer of Days Gone in the middle and then ended with that big bang, it leaves you with a different feeling. But all in all, it was a great press conference. They showed a lot of games I will be playing. It completely sold me on VR. Just the fact that, you could play a Batman game on it and some of the Final Fantasy game and the entire Resident Evil game you could play in VR, which is going to scare the shit out of me. I absolutely loved it. I just wish there was that one more bang, or they sorted it a little bit different.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm going to go with A-. I don't know why they didn't just go ahead and do the gameplay for Days Gone By with the Days Gone By trailer. That's how almost everybody else was doing it. It was underwhelming from that perspective. We'd already seen Days Gone By. You gave us one thought from it, and then you gave us this other thought, which was really just, all right, we've seen this. This doesn't look special, at least from this demo that they've shown. It could be that they blow us away later, but honestly, I would have just ended with Horizon Zero Dawn. I know it's something you already know about, and I give them credit. They did the same thing as Ubisoft. We're going to try to end on something new, but
yeah,
or end on Crash, or end on something else that maybe we kind of already knew about, but it's cooler. It had a better oomph to it,
I think they wanted to end showing gameplay for a game that was announced that night.
Right. Oh, I get what they're saying. I get what they were trying to do. It's the same thing as Ubisoft. That game that they're showing isn't like that world beater that you're just going, oh man, this is incredible. I'm going nuts about this right now. Just both of them kind of led you into a lull there at the end, like everybody's kind of said. But I agree with you guys. the VR thing, I got sold on it with the Final Fantasy, even though I know I don't need it to play it. Same thing with Resident Evil, you don't need it to play it, but it's very enticing. And just the other stuff, the knowing that the games that are coming, I still don't know how I feel about Last Guardian. That's kind of one of those things I'm going to wait to see what others say about it, maybe, because I'm a little bit trepidatious about picking that up on a day one thing and kind of not being too into it. But they delivered on the things that people expected. They gave us that big surprise of God of War, and yeah, Ubisoft and Sony really did well at the end there. Microsoft, I think they happened earlier this morning, but they did well too. Just them, it was about announcing systems and stuff like that we're gonna have to wait on to see what that's all about. But
Microsoft didn't really have a surprise,
right?
I mean, or at least not the ground-shaking surprise. I don't really consider Halo Wars 2 a groundbreaking surprise. And the stuff that Microsoft had was good. It's stuff that everybody's wanted, but it's just not, I don't think it really competed with Sony. Sony came out and said, hey, yeah, this is an extra $400 or $500 if you don't, they didn't say this, but $500 if you don't have the camera or the controller, but this is why you're going to want it.
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Simpsons have already done Death Stranding, so Kojima's a Simpsons fan. That's all right. That's totally cool. But yeah, everybody talked about everything. I think, yeah. So that does it for the press conferences. Nintendo, of course, will have their big 90-minute thing on Zelda, Wii U, and then Pokemon, and then they'll also have, I forgot what the other two games are on Wednesday, but
probably Tokyo Mirage Sessions and
Pokemon Go.
I forget.
Pokemon Go is the other one. Which that thing looks, that's nothing like Pokemon, but I guess they also don't want it to be the same, so it is what it is on that. But yeah, so looks like Sony won as far as our grades go, but EA was really the only disappointing thing that just completely bombed, I think. Everything else was, Bethesda was okay, but the three shows today, even though Microsoft didn't have the big blow-away surprise, all very good, all enjoyable shows, well worth watching. I don't know about sitting through another 2 hours of Ubisoft, but yeah, at least
they did at least have a lot.
Yeah, they did. That's true. So I don't know. I think we're gonna. I guess if any of you guys are around on Thursday, y'all are welcome to kind of do a E3 wrap up after they already have more things that are announced at E3. Like apparently they're going to announce some of the WWE 2K17 roster. There's going to be other stuff announced when E3 actually starts, which is on Tuesday through Thursday. So plenty of stuff to digest. And I'm sure more scuttlebutt will come out about the Scorpio and all the stuff with the Neo and all that. We'll get more of that by the time we hit the Thursday. So until then, you guys don't even know when you're doing yours, right, Randy and Wes, the whole E3 thing?
I mean, we're probably going to do it either tomorrow or Wednesday and try to get it out as soon as possible after that. But, it's just kind of whenever we're both free and available. So,
yeah, so make sure you check out the Backlog Busting Project for that. And, of course, they got their regular episode on Sunday. And, yeah.
Tuesday, actually. We record on Sunday and release on Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. I get confused with y'all's recording things sometimes. But yeah,
so do we.
So subscribe to everything. Subscribe to Backlog Busting. Subscribe to this podcast if you've enjoyed our E3 shows, whether it's on SoundCloud or iTunes or Stitcher or YouTube or wherever. Or go with 41mania.com where we all at least try to contribute something. Whether it's a top 8 column like Mark. or the fact of fiction like Daniel, or me doing the top 5. And the 4PC, and these guys posting the podcast, and Navy contributing a review here and there. So, Well, I was trying not to make you look, but you want to see? There you go, Wes. There you go. I was trying to cover your ass. And
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, no, I feel really guilty about that. I am going to start doing that more often here. So,
Hey, you know what?
Anyway,
we're doing this out of love of video games, so
Yeah, I don't think any of us actually get paid to do this, or are getting money to review games, are we?
No.
Well, not that I'm going to officially say now.
Mark's holding out. But I was at one point, but it got really.
Breaking news right here on the podcast: Marc Morrison is going to work for Giant Bomb. Oh.
Yeah.
Man, I would. Yeah, that'd be awesome for Mark. He loves that Giant Bomb. But what?
I'd be getting the hell out of Podunk, Michigan, then.
Yeah,
Next time on Quantum Leap. Oh wait.
Oh. Nice. Oh, when that Doctor Who ever comes back, talk about that too. All right, everybody. Later.
Later.